I've been playing around with some 8-drop Heartless Eldrazi. Saw this deck featured a few nights ago on Mining Modern with Corbin Hostler. And so I originally started playing with this stock list, and I have a few games with the stock list, and it did quite well. I have a few of those recorded, and I'll upload them when I can. But I did notice some weaknesses, and based on some comments actually in his feed after his original videos, there were some suggestions made. So I was toying around with a few changes, and this is what I've come up with. So this is kind of my own sort of modified brew of Heartless Eldrazi. So let's do a quick deck tech, and then we'll get into some games. So ultimately, the goal of this deck is to cast some big 8-drop fatties. Tentacle awesomeness of doom. Now we have Abundant Maw as one of these creatures. It's got an emerge cost of 7, and when you cast him, he's basically a lightning helix on a stick. 3 life for me, 3 life from you. We also have Distended Mindbender, who, when he's cast, I choose a non-land card with converted mana cost 3 or less, discard that. Converted mana cost 4 or greater, discard that. So it's like a double Thoughtseize on a 5/5 body. Now both of these can be cheated out with their emerge costs. So some things that are in the deck to accelerate that are Heartless Summoning, which allows spells to be cast for 2 less, and creatures I control get a -1/-1. So you can get one of those on the board. It can really speed things up. Also, Simian Spirit Guides help with some really broken openings. Then we've got our standard Eldrazi package. We've got the 3 Reshapers, which are great to emerge off of, because it means our emerge costs are now running us 4 mana after Matter Reshaper is in play. And then we also get the trigger off of Matter Reshaper. Thought Knots, which are great. Reality Smashers, which are great. Endless One is there to sink some extra mana late game. It also works pretty well with Heartless Summoning. You toss out a Heartless Summoning and you can cast it for 0 and it becomes a 1/1. So it's a good body that way. Collective Brutality, as always, is such a great card. Threw in a few Bearer of Silences to replace the stock 4 Dismembers. So I have 2 Dismembers, and I have now 3 Bearer of Silences. This gives me a flying body, which is nice to go over things. And also, when I have the extra mana, I can use it to make a person sack a creature, which I think could be pretty useful in matchups like Boggles or Infect, where it might be a little more difficult to get to some of the creatures. So that's sort of the main deck. The mana base is a couple of Black Cliffs, some Cavern of Souls, which aren't essential, but I have found help in control matchups. Temples, 3 Field of Ruins, which can help out with decks that have big mana and you want to get rid of lands. Graven Karns, just to get us some more black and red mana. We really need red for the sideboard. A Sanctum of Ugin to pull up some things, a single tin of Urborg, and then a Swamp and a Wastes to fetch with our Fields of Ruin if sort of necessary. When we look at our sideboard, we've got the Trinispheres for decks like Storm. We've got Ratchet Bomb for little guys and for tokens, some Relics, and Grafdigger's Cage for graveyard hate, an extra Dismember in case I need it. I went with By the Force to destroy some artifacts, a couple of Crumbles, and the real winner has been Kozilek's Return, because you can get that thing in the graveyard, you cast one of those big creatures for an emerge cost, and then you stack the Kozilek's Return to come in before you wipe the board, and happiness ensues. So anyway, the deck is super fun to play. We'll get into some matches shortly.